Good morning, beautiful people. This is my first Saturday stash dive. So I'm super excited as a team member for snldesign.net, and that is Sandra and Lisa. They also have a Facebook, which is Will Craft for Supplies, and that group is super fun. And we talk about and teach you how to use up your stash. And there's challenges and all sorts of fun stuff. So lots of people post, and I would encourage you to go over there and check them out. And they are just super nice. So what I'm showing you today is how to utilize your templates and stencils. And this is also from my Make a Kit Mexico, but I brought in some templates and some acrylic paints. The first one you saw there was just a little template that I picked up from Saw Crafters, and I used the heavy Crackle Distress paint in orange and went around the edge. And then I used this second stencil, which is the TWC stencil, and it is called Tile Texture. So it's one of the 6x6. And then the gold that I'm using there is actually a modeling cream. It's not paint. It's by Viva, and it's really thick and heavy bodied as well, and I just wanted some dimension on these pages. And I was going to go around the edges with like a brush, but I found that it wasn't going to spread the way I wanted it to, and so I just used my finger. And that worked out really well. There is some drying time that's necessary in between, and you can see me here trying to figure out what colors to use on a scrap piece of paper, but you want to let each section that you use your templates with to dry thoroughly, especially with the modeling cream and the heavy-bodied paint, because otherwise you'll get it everywhere. So I kind of did it in sections and then filled in. And that way you can utilize several templates on one page. And I just use a basil cardstock here, but you could do it on watercolor as well, because I do go in and take my watercolor paints, and that's just a little Artist Loft cheapy watercolor paints that I use all the time. And I wanted to go in and add some more color. It looked a little too, I guess, staunch with the white, and so I wanted to kind of blend things out and make it look more, I don't know, just more like a patterned piece of paper, I guess. And I do end up backing this because it warps quite a bit, and I didn't really like the edge after all. So I cut off the edge and end up putting it on a different cards or a background, just to line the edges. And so you don't really see much of it, but it was super fun breaking out my templates. And oh, here you'll see in the watercolor I added some salt just to make it look sprinkled. I should have used coarse or kosher salt, and it should have been wetter, because that salt didn't really work out. And I got it everywhere. So oh, that's just my scrap desk, sorry. So you'll also see I pull out, I had done that tile texture on just a scrap piece of yellow, and I take my very favorite pen, which is a gold Sakura gel pen, and it's like a gold or an iridescent kind of color in gold. And I took my Kelly Purdy numbers stencil there. It's a Simon Says stamp exclusive, and I just wanted it to be very subtle, and I cut out I traced around the letter 3 twice, and I cut it out so that I could put its age, which was 33 at the time. And you'll see those here in a minute, how I use that stencil better. Oh, my phone. And then I also took my stencil that is TWC, and it is called Mini Palm Tree, and I sprayed some Chartreuse Lindsay Stamp Gang on it. Just to get it to stick really well, I did put some temporary adhesive on it, and that way it didn't shift or move, because when you have one that's that detailed, you want to make sure that you don't have any movement, so you get the palm tree just right and stuff. Otherwise it could look like a big blur. And here I'm just trimming it and backing it on that cardstock. So the reason why it's like it looks like it's cutting in and out, it's because I keep turning it off and on, so you don't see the time involved with all the stencils. And I guess I could have cut this out, but I just didn't want you to go through that much time, because it did take a while. It took an hour and 20 minutes basically, which normally I can do a layout in about 32 to 45 minutes has been my average, especially when I have everything already pulled. But I did have to pull these templates, and I did have to mess around with the modeling cream and that sort of thing, and rinse them off and what have you. I didn't include the drying time. You can speed up the process with your heat gun, and I do suggest you use a lot of strong tape to back, if you're going to back this paper, because once you have all that texture, the heavy bodied texture on there, it warps the page quite a bit. And I didn't get my score tape quite to the edge, so I'm now gluing it down with some glossy accents, and then I just kind of manipulate it to get it to kind of go back into where I want it. I used the vintage photo and distressed the edges around it, and I will go back with that Sakura gel pen and go all the way around the outside of that white paper on the yellow as well. I'm sorry I'm a little bit out of frame here. I try to adjust as I go. This is a photo of Ashley, and this is outside of our hotel in Mexico, and we stayed at the Royale, which, if you ever have a chance to stay there, it is absolutely fantastic. And that was the one in Playa. And this was his first time in Mexico, or even out of the country for that fact, so I wanted to make sure that I documented that. And I pulled in some Project Life cards from my Make a Kit Mexico, and also some of the recorded line, which was from that kit I pulled together. And you can see that the 33 there, and I wish I would have put that up. In hindsight, it would have looked better, because it's kind of too flat. But the 33 is from that template I used, the Kelly Perky, and just trimmed it out, and had that tile texture with the modeling cream to give it the added texture inside the threes. So the hotel die cuts are from Urban Travel. No, not Urban Traveler. Oh my gosh, Travel Girl by October Afternoon. And those thickers were absolutely perfect. They're just called Lindsay glitter stickers, and they're thickers that are kind of a bronzy, a really fine glitter bronzy color. And oh my gosh, they they pulled in the brown, they pulled in the yellow, they pulled in the gold. They were just absolutely made for this layout, so I really like them on there. And I will do a bit of journaling about this being his first experience out of the country, which I think, honestly, I was so excited because I love to travel so much. I think that I was more excited than he was. So I do journal that. And I'm taking some of my Freckled Fawn kit and adding it to the top. And I'm so sorry that it's kind of cut off here. Jeez, I usually adjust. I had a lot going on. And I'm going out of town, so I've got this weekend's just going to be busy, and I just have a lot on my plate. I've been working a lot. And oh, here you'll see me putting the Simple Stories Urban Traveler sticker letters, and I'll put out of the country. I think I pull in from my Make a Kit Monday, I pull in, the color, or You Are My Happy by Teresa Collins. And that's from the Make a Kit. And I end up going around everything with that Sakura pen. Everything on this layout. So, I spare you some of that because I don't think it's necessary to show you everything. But I went inside the gold frame that I made with my fingers and all the Project Life and all the die cuts and the 33 and the words and everything. So the flare is by Ormolu, and it did not have a name on it. So sorry about that. And these are a beautiful glittery enamel dot by Freckled Fawn. Super pretty. The colors went really well. And I think, oh yeah, here's where I just do a bit of journaling. And the puffy stickers were also from Freckled Fawn.